Good evening, my students. How are you? Well, I hope you're just doing great today. Today's Saturday. It's actually 22 to 10. It's late, but I hope you're just doing great. I hope you had a terrific Saturday. And of course, you're just going to be watching this video in morning. So good morning to all of you too. I hope you're just learning English with my videos. And also, I want to say thank you to Mr. Daniel. As you know, Mr. Daniel is my coordinator. I work at Colonial Branch. He also works at San Juan del Ricancho branch. And aside of that, I must say that he's a great teacher. You've got the privilege of having such a great teacher as Mr. Daniel. He's my friend. I have learned a lot from him, and I want to say thank you in this video. As I always say, he's a great teacher. Daniel, thank you very much because we are a team and we are colleagues as well. Thank you. Well, let's going to start today this new topic, and I have set up some pictures here. I hope you like them because today's topic is completely different. Okay, my first question would be, what can you see in this picture? What can you see? What are these people doing? Where are they? Where are they, by the way? What are they doing? What do you think they are doing? Do you think they are, oh my God, flying? Do you think they are in a time machine? Do you think, well, what other opinions can you give me about this first picture? Hmm. Well, we've got people and they are astronauts, of course. They're astronauts and they're in space. I think some of you have watched this cartoon or anime Pokemon. And in Pokemon we've got a rocket team. So they are in the rocket. They are inside of the rocket. But what are they doing? Hmm. Of course, they are just reading. Because of not because of they are just going to display, that does not mean that they are not just continue doing their activities. Not because they are not on earth, they're going to stop doing what they love the most. And what they love the most in this case is just reading. Some of them are just reinforcing their activities. Some of them they want to learn more and more about new technology, and that's why books are the best friends. So this is the topic of today. The topic of today is about the space, about activities, about things that they like the most. Okay? Well, don't forget that we are just working with this book, Wide World, Secondary to Fourth. And today we've got page 62. 62, and we've got this reading, which I like the most, and also I have read it completely. And I am wondering just the first part. It says, this week in a Space magazine, astronomer Guy Greenwood talks about a historic mission to catch a comet. Well, I'm not going to continue because I want you to learn. I want you to read, to investigate about this reading, which is, I think I consider it like it's something we must know. We must know any kind of topics. And this one especially talks about how a mission called Rosetta costs $1.7 billion, and also how people how people are just trying to get out of Earth and getting new planets to live in and make them habitable. So that's why all these missions are just going into space. I think year by year, year by year. So I wanted to read the page 62 of the Wiley book, and afterwards I am going to ask you questions so you can also make yourself improve. You can reinforce the topic of today. Great. So let's going to move on. And we've got this second picture, which is the topic of today. I just want to make sure if you understood the previous class, I mean the last video about the conditionals. First of all, what is a condition? I want you to be clear. What is a condition? Mm-hmm. Great. A condition, it's something that, starts and then it's got a result. A conditions happens, a conditions begins, but of course I have got something else which is occurring, which is happening. So that is a conditional sentence. A conditional sentence is a two-part sentence that consists of one clause beginning with if, called the if clause, and I've got second clause, which is that result. Okay, so I've got my conditional sentence, my condition sentence, and of course I'm going to have my result sentence. Both work together. Both of them work together. So that's why it's called a conditional. Right? If you know that, this topic is going to be very simple for you. Okay? Let's going to continue. Let's going to move on to the second slide. And I've got this chart. This chart of conditionals are just divided into the four topics. We've got zero conditional, we've got first conditional, we've got the second one, and also the third conditional, which is going to be the topic of today. But let's going to make a short review, okay? Talking about these conditionals, I want you to make sure. I want to be sure if you got it, if you knew all these topics and also the definitions, right? Let's going to do it very quickly because I know that you are intelligent. I know that you know that, but I want to be sure, right? Good. Well, zero conditional facts which are generally true or scientific facts. The condition always has the same result. Present tense, present tense. Example, if you stand in the rain, you get wet. Sir, may I change the positions? May I start with the result clause? Of course, you can do it. You can say, you get wet if you stand in the rain. But remember, if you start with the result clause, the commas are not necessary because if goes to the middle. Okay, remember that. But if you start the condition with if, of course, the comma must be set up in the middle of the sentence to make them apart. Okay, remember that. Great. First condition, a possible situation in the future, predicting a likely result in the future. If the condition happens, of course. I've got present simple and I've got future tense. If it rains, we will cancel the trip. If you study, you will pass the exam. So can I set it oppositely? Of course, you can start saying, we will cancel the trip if it rains. You will pass the exam if you study. It's the same. You are just beginning by the result, and then you're just if you want to start by the if clause, go ahead. Actually, vice versa ways are just the same. Second conditional, hypothetical or unlikely situations, unreal or improbable situations now or in the future. Remember that. So I need the simple past and I need also the would. Would plus the verb. For example, if I won the lottery, that's an imaginary situation, hypothetical situation. If I won the lottery, I would travel a lot. Hmm. If they sold their house, they would be rich. So may I say it, oppositely? Go ahead. You can say, I would travel a lot if I won the lottery. They would be rich if they sold their house. Remember, I need simple past verbs. Okay? Second conditional, I need the simple past verbs and also I am going to use would plus the infinitive verbs. Great. Third conditional. Well, talking about third conditional, which I think it's It's very important, okay? And also, if you can handle this third conditional, you're going to be terrific in English. You're going to be great. You're going to get success in English because it's very simple. Okay, talking about third conditional, which says that are imaginary situations. When you talk about third conditional, you must just think about imaginary situations that didn't happen. Okay, of course, an imaginary situation never happens. So the person is imagining a different past. You must you must have that in mind. Okay? Remember, just imaginary situations that didn't happen. Because we're just talking and we are just referring to the past events. Okay? Example, if you had studied, you would have passed exams. If I hadn't been sick, I would have gone to your party. So in this case, okay, to use, in order to use the third conditional, I am always going to use the past perfect. So, past perfect? Oh, yes, actually, yeah. And also that means that you must know all the past participle verbs. So you must handle present, simple past, and past participle verbs. So I always say my students at Colonial Branch that they must know all the verbs by heart. What means by heart? By heart means that they've got to memorize all the verbs. There's no other way. There is no other way that just memorizing the verbs. Okay, so you're going to use past perfect, I mean past participle verbs, and also would have plus past participle verbs. That's why the structure here is completely different, and it says if you had studied, you would have passed the exam. If I hadn't been sick, I would have gone to your party. Past perfect plus would have passed plus past participle. Okay, so you must remember that. Well, let's move on. And also, I've got this chart, but also says the differences. Zero conditional, present simple. First conditional, present simple, will plus base verb. Second conditional, past simple, would plus base verb. Third conditional, past perfect, would have plus past participle. And also here I've got another picture for you which is more precise. Okay, if you've got problems, if you say, sir, uh, aside of your explanation, I couldn't even get it. Can you explain a little bit more? Can you repeat the class today? Of course, we've got more pictures and also we've got more explanations. Here we've got the first conditional, the second conditional, the third conditional, also the zero conditional. You can take a look afterwards and also you can reinforce about just by reading these concepts. Okay, what is the first conditional, what is the second conditional, the third conditional are of course the zero conditional. So we've got a lot of explanation today, and here it's the topic. Here is our friend. The main topic of today is just the third conditional, expresses real past events. A third conditional expresses a past idea that did not occur, did not happen, and also expresses an imagined result, or that past event that did not occur. In other words, it is unreal. Okay, in other words, it is unreal. So an example, if I had got a gold medal, I would have been happy. If I had got a gold medal, I would have been happy. Okay? Here I've got another example. If he had gone to lunch, you would have answered his calls. Remember, that is an imaginary situation, but I've got two past events. The first one, if he had gone to lunch, of course that did not happen, that did not occur. You would have answered his calls. That event did not happen either. Okay? That event did not happen either. So you must remember third conditional, imaginary situations or just unreal past events. Great. And here I wanted to give you some extra information, also some examples. Here I've got an activity and I love it. It says write each of the two sentences below as one sentence. Use the third conditional with had or hadn't plus wouldn't have. And here you've got an example. 1. Sam didn't get up early. One sentence. He was late for work. Second sentence. So let's going to make it together. Let's going to attach them. If Sam had gotten up early, comma, he wouldn't have been late for work because I am just attaching them by a conditional. And remember, third conditional, I need the past perfect plus past participle verbs. Okay? Number 2. This is for you. We didn't bring our umbrellas. 1. 2. We got wet. Hmm. How can I use this? How can I change this? How can I make them, coherently? So I can say, for example, we, no, if we had brought our umbrellas, we wouldn't have gotten wet. Remember, I am using the third conditional, past perfect plus past participle verbs. Okay, and we've got 12 sentences. You can also practice yourself at home. This is an extra information for you. I hope you like it because I think it's necessary. And also, these are just questions with if. These are called the famous if conversation cards. You can practice with Mr. Daniels too. You can ask him questions and also he can ask you questions and you can practice. I always say to my students that the most, the easiest way to learn conditionals is just by asking questions, by playing games. Because if you don't practice orally, if you don't practice your speaking by using conditionals, you're just going to mess up yourself. You're going to get in trouble because, oh my God, I've got too much information, but how can I speak using the conditionals? And this is a very, very good, this is a very good exercise. It's a great exercise in order to practice, to produce the language. For example, okay, I'm going to ask you a question first of all, okay, and then you are going to ask me a question. The first question would be, okay, let's going to pick up one. Okay, okay, this one. I love it. This one. If you had time, okay, listen to me. If you had time, imaginary situation. If you had time, which other language would you learn? Hmm, it's a good question. If I had time, or actually, if I had extra time, I think I would learn. Hmm. If I had time, I would learn. Well, let's say Russian. I love Russian. Okay, so this is the way you are going to practice with your friends and also with Mr. Daniel. Ask him, Mr. Daniel, can you ask me one question? We can play these cards, these conversation cards, in order to produce the language, and I'm sure that he's going to help you. Okay, so we've got different questions here. Another question is, if you had to change nationality, what would you become? Well, if I had, oh my God, this is well, actually, this is a rare question. Well, actually, think of it. I have never been asked this question. But if I had to change my nationality, I think I would change it more. I would become German. I think I would like to be German or Russian. I love those two countries. I love them. Okay, so that's the way you are going to practice with your friends. Also, you can do it during the video calls, conferences. Okay, well. And finally, we've got these dialogues. We've got these dialogues, and I hope you can understand them because here you've got all the grammar, all the explanation. And this first example says, he was late for work many times. Oh, poor. He lost his job. So let's go to turn into the third conditional sentence example. If he hadn't been late, he wouldn't have lost his job. Remember, these two are past events. Imaginary situations. Those events did not happen, did not occur at all. Second of all, if you had studied hard, you wouldn't have failed your exam. I think the teacher is just getting upset with boy. Oh my God, he's the mother with. Do you think familiar? Do you think this picture is familiar to you? Well, when I was a little boy, that happened to me constantly. My mother used to say, if you had passed your exam, you could have gone to the beach. Hmm. If you had passed your exam, you could have gone to the beach. So that means that I didn't pass my exam. I got a C. If I had not forgotten his number, I would have hung him. I hadn't forgotten his number, I would have phoned him. Okay? Great. So these are examples. If I had got a gold medal, I would have been happy. If the weather had been good, we would have gone water skiing. And finally, we've got if you hadn't lied, you wouldn't have ended up imprisoned. Oh my God. So try not to lie in these circumstances. Well, that is the topic of today. So today we have learned in a different way the third conditional. I think, as I always say to my students, I repeat always, the best way to learn a new topic is just by speaking. Try to ask questions to you, sir. Try to ask questions to your friends. Mr. Daniel, can you help us? We want to practice the third conditional by speaking. We want to do some games, some I don't know, some video games online also can help you to reinforce the topic of today. Okay, well, I want to say thank you to Mr. Daniel once again. Daniel, thank you very much. Because of you, you have helped me a lot. Thank you because you give me the opportunity, you give me the chance of just talking to your students at your branch. I haven't got the privilege of meeting them face to face, but I would like one day to go to school and make the class with them. And also, you come to our branch. It would be great. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you very much, students at Colonial Branch, also San Juan de Lurigancho Branch. I love you so much. And as I always says, practice your English, practice language. English is a great language. Love it. You must start loving that language. Okay, well, today is Saturday, so I say goodbye. I'm going to relax myself a little bit, and I love you so much. I hope you like it, and see you. Have a great night. Bye bye.
Naman ka.